So this is another video for Hatshepsut, and we're just having a bit of an overview of the 18th dynasty, or the start of the 18th dynasty, to help put that into perspective so we can understand the time period into which Hatshepsut comes to power. So we're going to start with a group of people called the Hyksos, who were not from Egypt originally, and their name actually literally means foreign rulers. And these were people who'd come into Egypt and had essentially taken over, particularly to the north. And they had their capital up here in a little spot called Avaris, and you can see that in red on the map, so in Lower Egypt. And at the same time, we had the Theban kings, the Egyptian kings, who were ruling to the south in Upper Egypt at a place called Thebes. So the Hyksos brought with them a whole heap of innovations, which are really the reason why they were able to take over in the north of Egypt and subjugate the people. One of these is the composite bow, and that's a bow that's not made of one piece of wood. It's made from numerous pieces of material laminated together, essentially, and it makes for a bow that shoots much faster and obviously much further, which is obviously an important advantage in a battlefield situation. And they also introduced a number of bronze weapons, including sort of daggers, but in particular the kopresh, which is that sword that you can see in the middle there. It's like a sickle-like sword, which was very effective against the Egyptians when they took over. Probably their most important innovation, though, was the use of the chariot, the horse-drawn chariot, which becomes synonymous with the warrior pharaoh image in the 18th dynasty that we'll look at later on. But this was an innovation that was brought into Egypt by the Hyksos themselves. So in terms of the Hyksos being expelled from Egypt and the starting of the reunification of Egypt, we see it starting essentially under King Kamose, who was one of the last kings of the 17th dynasty in the second intermediate period prior to the reunification of Egypt. So he held some raids against Hyksos into Hyksos territory and into Avaris itself, but essentially they don't work. The Hyksos maintain their control, and he dies. He doesn't actually rule that long, he only has quite a short reign, and he dies early, and the rule passes to his brother called Ahmose. So King Ahmose sacks the capital of the Hyksos at Avaris up in Lower Egypt and expels the Hyksos from Egypt. And probably the reason he was able to do that so successfully is because the Egyptians had adopted many of the technology and the innovations of the Hyksos that they brought into Egypt. As a result of him expelling the Hyksos, that's where really we see the start of the 18th dynasty. A new dynasty starts as a result of that with King Ahmose, the first king, and we see the reunification of Egypt, upper and lower, under one king with the capital at Thebes, and that's the start of the New Kingdom period, which is a period that we're examining. So that's essentially how the New Kingdom started, how the 18th dynasty started, and Hatshepsut obviously traces her lineage back to Kamose and Ahmose.